Alright fellas, now the Inoue Nery fight just happened, and well, it was an interesting one. This was a wrestling style finish the storyline fight for both Inoue and Nery, with Nery's history in Japan and Inoue getting his magnum opus fight at the Tokyo Dome. From the crazy 55,000 strong crowd, the insane walkouts, the fight itself including Inoue getting dropped, and this fella being in the ring, there's a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it. Going into the fight, I don't think anyone really expected Nery to stand a chance. This seemed more like an opponent choice based around the storyline rather than the skills of Nery. Not to discredit Nery though as a 2-division world champion, but there is levels to a certain point. With Nery previously having received a lifetime ban by the Japanese Boxing Commission for doping and coming in overweight, which was only lifted to make this fight happen. We were expecting to see at least some fireworks, or at least a worked up Inoue. The build up to this fight wasn't anything unexpected for a Japanese fight build up. Mostly respectful, with both fighters looking focused and ready to go. Now this fight was set to take place at a sold out Tokyo Dome. The last time the Tokyo Dome hosted a fight was 34 years ago with the Tyson Douglas upset, so it was a pretty big deal. The setup of the stadium looked amazing. The whole production seemed to be some of the best I've seen in many years. When it came to the fight, both fighters walked out looking pretty confident, and Inoue's walkout was absolutely sick. Also, something I found interesting was just the length of the walk to the ring. Makes sense with such a big stadium, but after Inoue's walkout and the national anthems, Nery must have been waiting around in the ring like 10 minutes. I've watched a lot of Inoue fights before, and from the second it started, I could tell something was off about Inoue. He was too confident too early. I don't know if it was them overlooking Nery or from the crazy walkout, but he wasn't boxing like himself. He was flat-footed, throwing shots which could be countered easily, and overall looked really slow, which resulted in that flash knockdown. Unlike Haney in the previous week, instead of getting rattled, Inoue came back stronger from the knockdown, finding Nery's rhythm and eventually knocking him out. Excluding the first round for this fight, it's what everyone expected, a dominant Inoue performance full of skill, taunting, and brutality. The first round, however, I think really humanized Inoue. It shows that he's human. Does that hurt his reputation? No. I think him bouncing back showed he's resilient and ready to go against any challenge. For Nery, scoring a knockdown was a victory on its own for him, being the first to ever do it. It was clear from early on he recognised that he was far out of his depth and realised he can't box Inoue from the mid to long range. He started looking for that one punch shot to come. But by the time Inoue was punching wild enough where Nery could have landed a shot like that, Nery was too battered and there wouldn't have been enough power on the shot. He was just too slow and tired. Inoue successfully defended his undisputed title. But what's next for him? Well, when the fight finished, I could see over Inoue's shoulder and Aussie boxer Sam Goodman was lurking in the back. And to be honest, I wasn't pleased at all with that sight. I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. Now, to an international boxing fan, you definitely don't know who he is. To the casual Aussie fan, you probably still don't. Well, Sam Goodman is a super bantamweight fighter who's ranked about 4th to 7th by differing world bodies in that division. Is Sam Goodman a good fighter? Yeah, I'll give him that. Is he elite? No, not really. He has an 18-0 record with his only half-decent win coming against a bloke called Raees Aleem. He hasn't really had any fights against top world-ranked blokes and has kind of finessed himself into the position he's currently in. Unlike a Tim Tszyu who has fought his way through top competition to get to the top, Goodman has versed average competition, only in Australia, racking up enough wins to somehow become a mandatory. Most of his fights are pretty boring, and not on a well he doesn't knock people out sort of note, which he does. It's just boring fights, there's nothing special or technical about them. His last matchup, which somehow was on pay-per-view, I don't understand how, was against a bloke named Mark Shields, who was 13-2 and had only won 1 out of his past 3 fights. He's going from this bloke to Inoue in his next fight. Really? Like, good on him, he's in the position to take the fight as a mandatory. Do I think he deserves a shot? No, not at all. As a boxing fan, and especially as an Aussie boxing fan, it just annoyed me. I didn't want to see him there. I would even take the Akhmadaliev fight over Goodman. Inoue said he's staying at 122 for at least the end of the year, so he'll probably have around 2 more fights, and with them bringing Goodman in the ring, he's probably at least going to be one of them. What I would love to see is Inoue moving up to 126 and starting all over there. The fights left at 122 is honestly just a victory lap for him, but I do think he'll move up to 126 eventually. I also quickly want to talk about the point which has been made all over the internet, with Inoue needing to go fight in America to go prove himself. People, for one, forget he has. Also, just based on facts, I don't remember the last time you had 55,000 people rock up for a super bantamweight fight. That's just insane. Why would Inoue want to trade that for probably a Thursday night ESPN slot in the States? Like, are you mad? He's a megastar in Japan, and the money, which is up for grabs, I think lures any other fighter in the 122 or 126 pound divisions over there for a bout. The sport we love is run on money. It just shows with the Saudis being able to make the big fights actually happen. But Inoue, he doesn't need to be a star in the States. He's already a big fish in a pretty big pond. Boxing fans around the world already love him and know who he is. He doesn't need to sell out the MGM Grand to appease some random Twitter boxing fans in the States. But just quickly, if you've never heard of me, my name is Cloister and I make boxing and fight sport related content. I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing or like the video. Anyways guys, let me know what you thought about the fight, the Inoue knockdown, the comeback, and what you see in his future. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.